Hi, everyone. I am joined today by Tim from Mortgage Market and our Rupert from EasyProperties. Welcome, guys.
Thank you,
Hi,
Carly.
And today we're going to be talking about Orlando Towers Estates, our latest property on EasyProperties. It's just gotten onto the platform. It's got an internal rate of return of 9.8% and an estimated net rental yield of 7.8%. And we love this property so much, we featured it twice. We featured this property once before. So I think let's start there, Roop. Why are we featuring this property again? We've had it on the platform before, and this is the second time around.
Yeah, I think we had the property on was almost exactly 2 years ago to the day. And we stuck it on for a couple of reasons. I think arguably this is a much better deal this time around. That original deal, I think we had negotiated a 1.5% discount. This time we're getting a 6% discount. The opportunities for capital growth are much better. I think one of the things which was maybe made people a little bit nervous the first time around was that it was a fully off-plan development. This development, the phase one, is now built. The tenants in, it's fully tenanted. They're about to launch phase two, which is about to have another 7% price increase. So I think also at the time we were in a interest rates environment that was steadily increasing. That's the opposite now. We're in a falling interest rate environment. And I think all of those kind of things combined, plus the fact that we had over 5,000 investors last time who were all disappointed that the IPO didn't get away. We've also got about another 30,000 investors that have joined EP since then. So all those kind of things came together to, make us want to put it on the platform again.
Well, I think this is a really nice property in terms of diversification of your portfolio. If I look at my share portfolio, I've got diversification in terms of I've got some dividend paying, some emerging markets, some, MSCI World. And similarly with your property portfolio, I see this as being quite a different property that maybe has some emerging markets kind of qualities and then potential growth that comes with an emerging market to put into your portfolio as well. So Tim, could you tell us a little bit? I mean, that was 2 years ago that we first kind of met you and learned about this property, and a lot's happened since then. So can you tell us a bit about the progress of this property since then and what it's like at the moment?
Yeah, I think I'll just use what Rupert said as a nice segue. So 2 years ago, in fact, a little bit longer than that, when we were planning this entire project, it was just bare land, right? So all you saw there was the Borough Mall. Yes, the famous Orlando Towers Estates towers were there, but people really couldn't see themselves living there, right? So now that you now see this whole community build up, there's more than 100 owners that are there. There's a new sense of just rejuvenation and sense of growth in that whole space. It's been fantastic. I mean, so much so that I actually purchased units there myself. Now, it's interesting. I didn't purchase right at the start. I purchased right at the end when I actually saw this thing, really just come to life. And it's been a wonderful development. Last year, when we did the launch of it, we actually gave away a fully furnished house to a Soweto resident who was living in deep Soweto and had always wanted to remain in Soweto but have his own house. And so that was quite a lovely event that we did with Metro FM for their birthday last year. And since then, the mall has taken on a revamp. So there's a revamp that is expected to be completed by the end of 2025. Also, the towers also have a new look. I don't know if you've ever seen it of late, but they've repainted it. And they've also upgraded it nicely for tourists, because there's a lot that actually goes on at those towers, literally across the road. There's dirt biking, there is bungee jumping, there is
Have you done it yet? Have you done the jump? Have you done a bungee?
I haven't. I'm afraid of heights, but I certainly,
Me
if somebody
too.
challenged me, I would do it.
Okay, so my next question is, Soweto is a very fast developing area. What do you think are some of the unique characteristics of this property that make it a really good opportunity in terms of capital appreciation? And that's for both of you guys, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, maybe I'll just start, right? So, you know, one of the things about Orlando Towers is we knew that the land and where it was situated was absolutely prime, right? It was right in the heart of all the things that you would regard as the key indicators that a property development is going to do well. But you don't know until it's actually built. And then you start to see it do well because the mall next door proved as a huge hit for all the residents there because it just made the convenience of shopping and buying groceries just so much easier. UJ up the road actually became a really good destination for students. So students are now, renting out units themselves. And we know in this country, student accommodation is big business because the occupancy levels are extremely high and the demand is always good. And then, of course, with Barra Hospital being around the corner, doctors and nurses have started to take on to actually rent in that space. And those are one of the motivating factors for me to say, hang on a minute, I don't want to miss out on a development that I was part of and actually then bought units. And today I've held these units for nearly a year now, zero defaults on rental payments. Rental collections have moved steadily, and it's just proved to be what we all expected it. So that was unique in the sense that you had this great piece of land right next to the iconic towers and right in the midst of an economic hub. And I think that's what makes it really, really a standout investment property. Yeah.
And I think the one thing I would add to that is that this is the first lifestyle estate in any township market in the country. So, and the fact that all of those other features that Tim's just mentioned, the location, all of that, also lends towards desirability for tenants, desirability for people to come and want to live in that estate. And increased demand equals increased prices, increased rental yields, all of that stuff. So, it's a bit of a no-brainer, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe just on that note, because you mentioned lifestyle estate, and when I was reading about this property, I actually had to double check that I was reading correctly of all the amazing amenities that this property has. I saw that there's a creche, there's biometric security access. Can you talk a little bit more about the amenities that they have available?
Yeah, so they have bright areas situated in key locations of the estate. We started growing some trees there, so there's nurseries of trees there. Of course, the clubhouse is well lit. There is a five-a-side football pitch on there as well. There is the creche area. There's also ample parking space as well. And so it just has all the key amenities that we know folks want when they're living in a lifestyle estate. And with phase 2, we're planning on building more of that because obviously as the development expands, the demand has been so great that we've actually increased the price on phase 2. So Rupert, you guys are scoring a great deal here with
Thank
this.
you, Tim.
We obviously, wanted to make this a successful one for EP, and we know that the phase 3 and 4 are only going to appreciate even more in price. So we'll keep up with understanding what residents want to see from their housing, and as and when we see new features that we can add onto it, we'll be adding those amenities. I think the next thing that we are doing is looking at some solar off-grid type initiatives. But that's something that will come probably as phase 2 gets underway.
I think that's so powerful what you said, Tim, in terms of phase 2 already having a 7% price increase. That coupled with the 6% discount that we've secured for EasyProperties investors. I mean, Rupert, speak to that. What kind of advantage does that give people in terms of entry?
Yeah, you get a run at capital growth. I mean, theoretically, obviously it's theory for now, but theoretically you are looking to see a 13% increase in your capital gains in no time.
Yeah, exactly.
So even if you just apply kind of inflationary increases over this next period, you've got a 13% leap.
Head starts.
Head start's the right word. That's exactly what I was groping for. Thanks.
Well, I mean, when I look at my share portfolio, and it's taken like 2 or 3 years to get a 13% return on some of my investments, I'm thrilled. So to be able to sort of get, something like that upfront immediately is actually insane. It's an insane opportunity.
It is quite significant. I think just to add to that, if you think about where house prices have been in general over the last 2 years, like some people have not got an asking price for their units, right? They've gotten a little bit below that because of where interest rates have been. So to be able to see a development that's actually desirable and appreciating in price far beyond the market itself, I think is just very unique in this space.
Yeah, and I think these, hopefully this next interest decrease is coming, this interest rate decrease as well. And I think as we go further down the line with more interest rate drops, it's only going to kind of serve this particular development. I mean, obviously the whole property market, but this development in particular, I think has probably got a sensitivity to interest rate environment. And in this falling interest rate environment, it's just got to be of benefit to the capital growth potential.
So that's it, guys. You've heard all about Orlando Towers Estates. Go and check it out on the EasyProperties platform and treat yourself this festive season. There's no better stocking filler than a little EasyProperties addition to your portfolio, especially in this really interesting niche market that, as you say, Rupert, is going to benefit from this interest rate falling. So we're going to wrap it there. Thank you so much, Rupert and Tim. It's been great chatting to you.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank you, Carly.